Elon Musk. Some say he's a genius. Others think he's batshit crazy. Honestly, what's the difference? Here's the thing, Elon Musk is not perfect, but he offers very valuable takeaways for non-tech founders to become better at managing projects. Here are a few things you must know about Elon. This video will have two main parts: how founders should emulate Elon and how founders should not emulate Elon. Many of us have seen Elon Musk's name in the news because of the whole Twitter thing, and pretty much all of it is negative. But it's important to look at Elon Musk as a whole, which includes way more than just Twitter. So we'll start with a brief history on Elon Musk's relationship with tech products and the tech industry. Let's look at the man behind the Musk. Elon Musk's background in tech. Elon Musk's formal education consists of a degree in physics and economics. Impressive, but very little direct connection with software. In practice, Elon Musk has been in tech and software development his whole life. The man taught himself to code when he was 10. He sold his first software when he was just 12. Today, he's proficient in a few different programming languages, including Java, Python, and C. The Zip2 era. In 1995, when he was just 24 years old, Elon and his brother Kimball founded Zip2, a software company that developed online city guides. They started it with $15,000. In 5 years, it was acquired for just over $340 million. And his story doesn't end there. The X.com era. Elon would go on to found X.com in 2000, one of the earliest online banking systems. After a merger, X.com was rebranded as PayPal. Yes, Elon Musk contributed to the founding of the world #1 online payment gateway. And then they got acquired for $1.5 billion US. If Elon's story ended here, he would still be one of the best case studies of how to create a successful tech company. But his story doesn't end. There are two more notable companies that Elon founded or got involved with, and they're still running today. First, SpaceX. According to Elon, he spent about $100 million of his own money to found his space rocket company. It's a huge jump from his already impressive achievements. Elon built and programmed rockets that travel millions of kilometers at breakneck speed, with a mission to allow humans to one day colonize Mars. It's a big dream, and in the meantime, SpaceX has won multiple billion-dollar contracts from the US government to build rockets for NASA. Second, Tesla. Elon isn't a founder, he was an early investor and later took over from the people who started it. I'm grossly simplifying what happened. It wasn't exactly a smooth and happy transition, but it happened, and Elon took an already successful company and turned it into a global phenomenon. By the way, one of the first things Elon did when he took over in 2008 was to fire 25% of Tesla employees. Let's see what he had planned for 2022. Like I said, the man has never changed. If you look at Elon's list of accomplishments, it's impressive to say the least. But he got there by being the same as he's always been. This is a good time to transition to the first main part. Things about Elon Musk founders should follow. Number one, understanding the development process. I'm not referring to his coding skills here. As far as I know, his coding has made him $500 from the game he made. That's all. The hundreds of billions and massive global impact came from his thinking. Code is just language, like English or Mandarin. You can have the best vocabulary in the world and all the fancy grammar, but you will never say anything worthwhile if you can't think first. So when I say Elon understands software development, I'm talking about his willingness to understand and think before executing. Software development is formulaic. Identify problem, identify solution, find the best way based on resources, execute, then review and adjust. This is where Elon shines. This is an actual quote from Jim Cantrell, one of the core technical engineering personnel at SpaceX. He is by far the single smartest person that I have ever worked with. Period. I can't estimate his IQ, but he is very, very intelligent and not the typical egghead kind of smart. He has a real applied mind. He literally sucks the knowledge and experience out of people that he is around. He borrowed all of my college texts on rocket propulsion when we first started working together in 2001. This is a man who wants to fully understand the process he's paying for. He's not asking to sound smart or to attack or belittle people. He's asking to understand. That allows him to speak on equal term with technical people. They probably know more than him. In fact, they should, but he knows enough to ask the right questions and understand answers that come his way. In contrast, I think of some of the non-tech founders I've dealt with that don't want to learn anything. They just want to pay and get what they're asking for, even though what they're asking for doesn't make sense. When we try asking them, hey, have you thought this through? They look at us like, what's that? I'm not asking you to learn how to code, but be ready to get involved in the thinking part of the development process. And to do that, you first need to do some homework and understand the development process. When you and your developer understand each other, everything works. It's like love at first sight. Future Adrian here with a quick message. Not taking the time to understand software development is one of the worst mistakes non-tech founders make. And that's not all. It's one of the worst. There are more. 6 more to be exact. You can find them in my free ebook, The 7 Money-Burning Mistakes of App Development. Check it out and I promise you will save thousands of dollars on your next project. Link in the description. Okay, back to the video. Number 2, having goals beyond money. This might sound corny, but Elon chases his dreams. Oh wow, that did sound corny. This is a quote from him in 2022. People get confused sometimes. They think an economy is money. Money is a database for exchange of goods and services. Money doesn't have power in and of itself. Some may think, easy for him to say. He's already rich. Bet he wasn't like that at the start. Maybe, but I can tell you for a fact that chasing money is one of the worst reasons to start and launch tech startup. It's competitive. There's almost no technical barrier to entry. The work never ends, and there's a huge chance your company won't make it past its first year. Maybe it was easier back in the 90s when Elon was starting, but it's not the 90s anymore, and we need to look at things as they are today. And the fact is, Elon today is all about the vision. And not only is he more successful now, he's one of the most successful people on the planet. So if your main drive is money, I think there are far easier ways to get it than starting a tech company. Start with the idea. If it's valuable, the money has to follow. Number 3, being a hell of a salesman. Take a typical software engineer and salesman, then ask each to sell you the same software subscription. The engineer will delve into technical details and make sure they explain everything. You know what the customer will think of that? The salesman won't have the same depth of technical knowledge, but they'll capture your imagination and get you excited. Between the two, the salesman will close more sales. Elon is definitely technically savvy, but he doesn't sell by sharing the millions of features his product have. He sells by sharing his vision of the future. When people buy a Tesla, they don't just feel like they're buying a car. They feel like they're contributing in some small part to the future of transportation. Check out this interview from early 2022 where Elon is being interviewed at the new Tesla factory. Look at the comments. None of them are about the product themselves. They're all about Elon and his vision. So to non-tech founders, leave the technical development to technical developers. Tell us what you need, we'll build it. But when it comes to selling your solution to the world, you need to be like Elon. Take the lead on understanding how this is going to change people's lives. Pretend you're already living in the future where your solution exists and sell that to your customers. Number 4, running a lean operation. Controversial, this is where driven can easily be seen as ruthless. With Elon, if you don't perform up to standards, you're fired. If you're not needed, you're fired. If you openly criticize the boss, you're fired. This sounds really bad, but anyone who's managing people understands that employees are the biggest source of headaches. When they perform, they help grow the business like nothing else can. When they don't, they become the biggest drain on company resources. Elon's businesses have budgets in the hundreds of millions, and he's still super strict about ROI. For startup owners who don't have hundreds of millions, we need to make sure any money going out means more money coming in. If you know an employee is holding the company back and you let them, who's the real liability here? Things about Elon Musk founders should avoid. Number 1, releasing major updates too quickly. When Elon took over Twitter, it already had over 200 million users. It matters because yes, Twitter has its flaws, but it's got over 200 million users. That tells you 200 million users didn't mind its flaws. Twitter gives them what they want, free rubbish. Then Elon comes along and goes, let's make people pay for this rubbish. And users were like, don't do it. And Elon was like, I did it. And users were like, bye-bye. As of the end of 2022, over 1 million Twitter users have left for an alternative platform called Mastodon, and more are projected to follow. In theory, there's absolutely nothing wrong with releasing updates that you think will improve your app. In software development, you want to fail fast, fail often. The idea being you test ideas out as quickly as you can. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't, scrap it and move on. I don't think you would ever find a developer that disagrees with this. I don't. Thing is, Twitter is not in development mode. It's an established product with a huge user base and existing business model. You don't just release a major update that changes how your product works after 200 million people are using it. In this case, there should be lots of internal testing, then a small batch of beta testers before releasing it to the public, something that should have taken a few weeks at least. Instead, Twitter Blue was released a week after Elon took over and received huge backslash. Number 2, making the app serve you instead of users. Let's look at the list of major updates Elon implemented. Number 1, paid verifications. Number 2, account reinstatements. Number 3, no sharing of live locations. Number 4, banning links to competitor social media. Only update number 3 is meant to add value to users. The idea being that sharing live location exposes people to real world harm. Okay, fine. The rest of the updates, 75% of them only serve Twitter or Elon directly. Number 1 is clearly a way to generate revenue for Twitter. Number 2 is to meet Elon's vision of an online space for completely free speech that the average Twitter user does not care about. And number 4 is to not make it too easy for unhappy Twitter users to jump ship. Interestingly, Twitter banned sites like Facebook and Mastodon, but not TikTok. And people have speculated that it might be because Tesla heavily depends on China as a revenue source. The really bad part is that in addition to being self-serving, many of these updates are huge inconveniences to users. A combination that is sure to piss people off. Number 3, mistreating employees. Treating your staff as a resource is one thing. Being an is another. Elon Musk is an He has always been an There are so many accounts of him mistreating employees. He gets away with it because 1, his companies pay very well. Number 2, for companies like Tesla and SpaceX, there's a larger-than-life mission that I can totally see people buying into. The rest of us, myself included, don't have that luxury. When you're a founder, you won't have a life. You will be working all the time because you're crazy enough to become a founder. You cannot expect employees to do the same. My company is fully remote, and that leads to people that needed a little motivation. But it's far and few in between. If a founder is constantly scolding employees, something's wrong. And it's probably not the employees. Elon shouldn't just be remembered for Twitter. But when it does come to Twitter, it looks like Elon got a bit overconfident and went in with guns blazing with the next 100 moves all planned out in his head. Then, the first 2 moves didn't work out. He didn't quite know how to respond and things went from bad to worse. It's a huge lesson for us. You can be a genius who's massively successful in one thing doesn't mean you'll be equally good at something else, even if they're related. This happens all the time with app developers. Inexperienced developers get approached to see if they can build a fairly complicated app. The right answer is no. But many will say yes for the money, then deliver a disappointing product if they deliver anything at all. Non-tech founders, you need to be like Elon here. Treat your developers like a resource. It goes back to understanding the development process and everybody's role. Make sure people are the experts they claim to be, and if not, fire them. Or better still, don't hire them in the first place. Check out my video here on how to avoid hiring bad app developers and how to hire the good ones. See you in the video.